Hi, welcome back or welcome to the Cables, Lace, and Tails podcast. My name is Sue. I am a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. It is quite cold today, but the sun is shining, and let's start in on the thing that took me almost 2 years to complete. I am labeling it my pixelated sweater. It is a set-in sleeve cardigan. I'll stand up. I did not put buttons or buttonholes on it. I did not want my sweater to have buttons or buttonholes. I just wanted to be able to put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off when it was necessary at work. Sometimes things are really fast moving and you're hot, so you're like, I don't need this anymore. Put it off to the side. So why did it take me almost 2 years to finish? How did I maintain wanting to get it done if it took almost 2 years to finish? I started it in 2023. I do not remember when. I did not take care of my notes in that realm. Like, I started this on May 3rd, 2023. I have no idea when I started in 2023. I did make it in pieces by using I had it. Where is it? And Bud's, the Knitter's Guide, the Knitter's Handy Book of Sweater Patterns. It is a set-in sleeve. I decided on the size that I wanted, which is actually two different sizes. So the body of the sweater is either a 40, I think it's a 42-inch bust, and the sleeves are from the 40-inch bust because I'm short. I decided to have a straight sleeve. Look at this. So the book gives you a tapered sleeve. It's an older book, and that was very popular at that time. I'm going to show you a picture. And I decided by looking at the pattern, if I had just started the sweater sleeve at the end of the stitch count, I could have a wide cuff and a wide sleeve. I do prefer wide sleeves, and here's a picture for the set-in sleeves. So as you can see, they are a tapered sleeve. So I looked in the pattern. I saw, I think it's 122 stitches, maybe 130. And I cast it on, say 122. I did a 1x1 rib. Can you even tell? It's very pixelated. A 1x1 rib for the cuffs, collar, button band, and hem. I did 9 rows on all aspects, so it would all be uniform. I know I started the sleeves on Mother's Day 2024. And I didn't work on this consistently. I would work on it like a few rows here, a few rows there. Once I got the back done, I was like, because the back was the biggest piece. And then I did the 2 fronts, and then I did the sleeves. Once I got to like the decreases on each piece, it seemed to go faster, and then I'd be more energized to finish and start the other piece. However, it was made, the 1x1 rib was done with a US 2.5 needle, and the body of the sweater was with a US 3 needle. So it's fingering weight yarn. It's very thin. It is Knit Picks, it's called Knit Picks Palette Twist. Knit Picks Palette Twist in the color Briar Twist. They do not have Briar Twist anymore in their color palette. You can get another form of brown and cream marled yarn. I think there's like grizzly or camel or something like that. So there are options. When I bought this yarn, which was probably in 2019, it was on clearance, And I got 10, my cats are over there playing down here. Can't see. I got 10 skeins for $1.62 each. I was like, woo! Recently, they had their $2, $4, and $6 sale, which happens in November. And they were, clearancing this color out. I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to have enough yarn to finish this because you just don't know. You have an idea, but is your idea right? And if they're getting rid of it, I better stock up. So I bought 2 more skeins just in case. I have approximately 3 and 3.75 skeins left. I used about 1/4 of a skein to do all the finishing touches and sewing it up. I sewed the sleeves. So I did the invisible seam, because it's invisibly seen, on the shoulders. I did a whip stitch to put in the sleeve. I don't know if I could have done a different stitch that would have not made it so puckery, or maybe I tied it too tight because I was worried. And then, whatever. I guess it is what it is, as they say. And then for the sleeves and the body, I use the mattress stitch. And this is right here. This is the seam. You can kind of see it, but it blends really well. That's the one good thing about this marled yarn. They're so naughty. Anyway, what else can I say? How did I keep going for 2 years? Well, I do have staying power. I have a stubbornness to me. I really wanted the final product. When I looked at this yarn, I thought, I'm going to have a simple sweater because the yarn is so busy. And I wanted the sleeves this way. I wanted it to have a wider neck so I wouldn't be, choking. But I didn't want to have it buttoned because it wasn't really needed. I know a lot of people like buttoning up their cardigans. Even when I do have them, I don't really button them all the time. So before I sewed it up, I wet blocked each piece. I did cover this in a previous episode. In the future, because I only have 9 blocking mats, in the future I will only block a few pieces or maybe 1 piece because I didn't have enough mats to block out my sweater, and it really did need a good blocking because it was all, it's stockinette stitch, so it all curls in on itself. So I learned that after I sewed everything on and did all the finishing touches, the collar, the button band. I did wet block it 1 more time, and I tried to smooth out this area. However, when I did it, I made it too flat, and as you can see, it looks like I hung it up on a hanger. I did not do that. I just laid it on my bed. But, another wet block or a steam can help that come right out. And I'm not too worried about it because I've worn it twice to work. And it was fine. And it was really nice because when I wore it to work, I got a little hot and I thought, boop, right off. I'm done. I don't have to worry about this anymore. So, there was a time where I really didn't think I was ever going to finish this. I really didn't. I thought, I'm always going to have this on my needles. It's always going to be there. It's going to be like my safety net where, I don't know what to do. I'll just do a couple, rows back and forth. But as you do that, it eventually gets finished. And now I'm really sad that it's off my needles, to be perfectly honest. I'm really sad. It's like you finish a good book. I finished a nice pattern. I'm happy to have the end result, but I really miss I guess it's like running a marathon or doing something long distance, like a trip. You anticipate the end. You can't wait to get there. And then when you're there, you kind of miss the journey. So luckily, I have other journeys in my bin right over here. Now, the other thing I did finish, but they're in the wash, literally in the washer, were my sleeping socks. I will show them later. I love them. They are so nice and warm and toasty on my feet. I have started another pair, but they're over there and I'm not going to go get them. Now, I have shown this sweater before, and I'm bringing it up for a specific reason. I thought about putting it on, but I am wearing a mic even though I can't see, and I don't want to do that. So when I made this, I thought that the sleeve started like the set-in sleeve, which is, at the edge of your shoulder. However, this pattern, you basically have the top part attached to the neckline, which then meant that it is, I'm going to just hold it like this. No, it's not going to work. It's essentially, I'm going to show here, it's essentially about this too short. And I said I could live with it. I like it. It's fine underneath a jacket. I like it. I'm not going to change 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 it. And then I keep wearing it. And, people are like, well, it looks fine. You roll up the sleeves. What's the big deal? And I said to a coworker today, but I see my failure every single time I wear it. And then I was watching a few different podcasters. Most recently, Florence by Handmade by Florence. And she stated that if she fixed the cuff on her one sweater, she would actually wear it more often. And I thought, I really don't like where my cable cardigan that I spent hours upon hours upon hours making, I really don't like how it sits on my forearm. What if, now there's a thing called Finish It February. It was coined by Roxanne Richardson, I think that's her YouTube channel, Roxanne Richardson, but she also goes by Rocks on Ravelry. But she coined it where you look at your whips, you look at like your finished objects, you look at your mending pile, and you decide what you're going to do. Do you want to keep that yarn that you really thought you were going to use, or are you going to give it away, give it a new home? Are you going to, what are you going to do with it? The items that you have made, do they need repairs? I'm a little hot. And it, from there, go, should I fix this? Is it worth fixing? Should I redo it? Etc. So I thought yesterday when I was watching Florence, when she said that she could just cut the cuff, and pick up the stitches and knit longer. And I thought, do I dare? Do I dare cut the cuff and pick up stitches and knit longer? Do I dare do this? It was made from this part up. I've never done it. I've never done that at all. I'm a little nervous, to be perfectly honest. If I did, I think I would cut really at the edge. Yeah, maybe at the edge, and then I could unravel a little bit and put my needle on it. And I know what needles I used, and so it's a possibility. I will let you know if I decide to do that, because today, while wearing my sweater at work, because I did wear this to work today, I was like, I should. Should I? I should. And then the other thing that was kind of bothering me is that the neck kept coming up. I made it so it'd be floppy, right? So it'd be like this. But this side kept flopping up like that. Does it need to be longer? Do I dare? Or do I just keep it the way it is, live with the mistakes, and know better for the future? That I do not know. I do not have these answers at this present moment in time. I wish I did. But we'll see. At this moment, I am in no hurry to fix it. That is one thing is for sure. In February, I am not fixing this. I will wear it, I will debate, and if I decide to do it, it'll be in the future. So, I have to be careful because my kitties are around and they love to take my yarn all the time, all the time. All right, I made a little progress on my socks, not worth showing. However, now, I have mentioned this before, Sari Norlund's book, and it is the I'm just going to show you because it's Greek and I don't want to mispronounce it, and I don't want to look unintelligent because I cannot pronounce Greek. Anyway, it's a lovely pattern. I wanted to teach myself how to read charts, and I'm just going to take all my post-its off. I decided to do this pattern because it was relatively a quick knit. There's all the charts. I love it. I love this pattern. It is fun. I put it off to the side because of dishcloths a while ago, and I just this morning got to the midpoint. I have 2 more rows to do before I start my decreases. And if you remember when I showed this last time, the last time I did my knitting stuff, it had sat in a Ziploc bag for quite a while, so the cords have a lot of memory built into them right now. They have already started to loosen up. I might have bent this one a little bit, but you know, I'm not gonna force it. I'm just kind of, you know, playing with it a little bit. So this is how much I have. I decided, I'm gonna hold it like this. In the pattern, she says you do 10 repeats of chart 2. And I decided, because it says so in the pattern, you can make it larger if you want. I decided to do 14 repeats. So I have 14 of these. Actually, I have 15 because I don't count this one. So this 14 to here. And then you're starting your 15th, and then that would be 16. So technically there's 15 repeats. Okay. And then I am going to be working the 2 middle rows, and then I will start chart 3 and doing the decreases. It will essentially be like a shawl scarf. I'm using Knit Picks. It's a discontinued yarn. Knit Picks alpaca blend, which has equal amounts of wool, alpaca, and acrylic yarn. And this is the color Oyster, I believe. I believe it's Oyster. And yeah, it's Oyster. It's lovely. It has a nice halo. I don't think you can see. I'm going to just try and hold it. It has a nice little halo. It's very soft. It's very soft to skin. I'm looking forward to wearing this, you know, around my neck as a decorative scarf, as a warm scarf. I started working on it this morning before work. I have been doing something to keep me motivated. I get my daughter to school, and then it's been too cold to walk my dog. it's been sub-zero and it's really hard on her paws. So I got all my stuff done and I finished eating about 9 o'clock this morning. And then I set a timer for 40 minutes. Actually, I set an alarm. So then my alarm goes off at 40 minutes and then I get ready for work. And in that time period, I figured out where I was, I figured out what I needed to do, and then I did essentially four rows. It was like going back to reading a good book. I was like, oh yeah, I like doing the cables this way. It's just a two cable where you hold the yarn in back. I'm gonna just hold it up real close. It is lovely. The needles I am using are also from Knit Picks. I am not sponsored by Knit Picks at all. I found out about them. I do like their yarn. I do like their sales. I have received some really, really, really good sales. I have been one of their customers for the last 6 years. So, you know, these are 4 square, Sunstruck 4 square needles. So they're actually square. I'm going to just hold it up and see if you can see. They're made out of laminate birch. I'm going to take off the tip because they have a nice tip. Now, I also use these for my sleeves on my Emrys cardigan. They're lovely. This is a size 4 needle, and this is a sport weight yarn. So it's working up really lovely. And it's engaging enough where you're like, oh, you're increasing or now I'm going to be decreasing. You decrease or increase 1 stitch on the right side, and it just is that gradual step. And so now I can't wait. I just want to get it done so bad because I want to use these needles for something else so bad. So yeah, and I don't want to like take my needles off and use it because sometimes then you lose steam. But if I have this finished February on my mind, because I really want to cast on a couple new sweaters, because let's be honest, I want to make at least 30 to have a different sweater each day, or more, to be perfectly honest, because I want to have, you know, the summer cardigan, the winter cardigan, the in-between spring fall cardigan, the pullovers and whatnot. So yes, that's the Sari Norlund scarf. I call it in my notes because I keep track of what I do, and I like put little checks like, oh, I worked on my Lopi, check. I worked on this, check. And it keeps me motivated. I call this Sari scarf because, you know, instead of writing a word that big, is, you know, smaller. Anyway, I am just using one of these cable needles. I do like this style. And then let's see, so that's the Sari. Now I also worked a little bit because I would love to get this done. This is called the cherry sweater. It is also using the alpaca blend yarn, but this is in the colorway squirrel. Oh, it's a deep raglan, a little bit of my hair. It has large sleeves, which I like. It will only be like a half sleeve, maybe 3/4 way, you know, to be about here on me. That is my plan. I want to cover my elbow, but not go much further. It's lovely. Right now, I'm just working in the round. I thought about putting a stitch marker on. Did I? I know I was working on this last night. Oh yeah, I did. I did 2 rounds. So this is kind of like what I did with my pixelated cardigan. I would just put a little stitch marker, and for that week, I would just see how many rounds or how many rows I would do. And then it, you know, sometimes I would have an inch, and I'm like, I actually did quite a bit because, you know, Fingering weight yarn is very thin, as is sport weight yarn. So it is relatively thin. It has a nice twist, a nice halo. I can't wait to wear this. So that's another thing I would like to finish. Will I finish it in February? Probably not, but because we're already halfway through February. But will I get things done on it? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Especially now because it is a nice, I don't want to think about really what I'm doing. I just want to watch this show, this podcast, this, I got a lot on my mind. I just want to just knit. I just want to knit for a while. And if I do a round, yay. If I do a couple rounds, yay. So there's that. And then I have also worked on my Emrys cardigan. It came from this book. This was a Knit Picks pattern collection. The pattern was actually by Sienna Morningstar. Right now I am working on the shawl collar. I'm going to show a picture. I'm debating about buttons and button holes. It does have the instructions for that. However, did I make it too big where it would be like, the buttons would be, would there be too much overlapping? And the reason why I made it too big is because I wanted to wear over clothes. And I didn't want to go I didn't want to go too small and then feel like because I wanted to wear this out on the playground. That was my plan. This is like an outdoor, I'm wearing it because I'm at work sweater, and I just want to be able to put it on really quick, wear it. So we'll see. I'm debating because right now I am making, okay, so the last time you saw, I did have one sleeve done, and I had started the cap part where you knit flat. And it's a really interesting construction because you pick up all the stitches, but then you knit back and forth on the cap, and then you do the cable pattern. I really like that. It's a 6-stitch cable pattern, and it reminds me of when you put flat bread. That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, so last time I had just started here. I did German short rows. So I did a German short row, and then I can't remember how I did it. I German short rowed, and then I knit one. I did something that wasn't correct. I know that. I did that, and so my stitch count was off on how to decrease, and so I made up my own decreases. So I decreased down here. You can kind of see the decreases right here. I decreased to 70 stitches, and then I knit straight for a period of time, and then you can see where I started decreasing rapidly to 56 stitches. I put it on. It fits really nice right now. And then I can't put it on right now because I have it in the works. So I have a 60-inch cable on my, I'm using Knitter's Pride size 8 or 5mm wood needles. I believe it's the Dreams collection. Anyway, they're nice. I like them. So you pick up all the stitches all the way around. You put stitch markers where they tell you all the way down, and then you do one round of 2x2 ribbing, and then you come up on this side, the right side. I will say in the book, in the section of the pattern, they mixed up the right and left. So on the right side is actually, they say on the left side. So you just have to ignore that part because it doesn't make sense if you read it as it's stated. That sometimes happens. Publishers make mistakes. Proofreaders make mistakes. If they, since it is a correct spelled word, sometimes the computer doesn't even understand that that is not correct if they were just looking for mistakes spelling wise. Anyway, you pick up here and then you start doing short rows. It does call for wrap and turns. I'm doing German short rows. I like German short rows better, so that's what I'm doing. And I was working on this last night and I got approximately 1.5 inches done. It was wonderful. I really want this done, but I felt like last night I was just pushing myself so hard. And I said, you want to work on other things too. So I put this aside and I started working on my cherry sweater. And that really calmed me down because my mind has been very active and full of worry as of late. So I am looking forward to getting this done. The wool yarn I am using, it's 100% wool by Lion Brand. They're fisherman's wool. It is in the color oatmeal. I like it. It is a little rustic feeling, but I wanted this to be over my clothes. I didn't expect it to be, right on my neck or, my sensitive areas. So I hope I have this done soon. Will I have buttons and buttonholes? I don't know. Then I was thinking, well, if I don't have buttons or buttonholes and I want to, I want to wrap it, I could just make a belt and put some little, what do you call them? What do you call them? Holders. Just, sew them on so you have like a little spot where they hang. So there's that option. And I just don't know. I just don't know what I want. In the next cable cardigan that I'm going to make out of this book, the vegetable patch sweater, it does have what do you call it, a belt to close it up. So that's kind of where I got that idea. I was like, well, I could just do that, because in that, the vegetable patch sweater, you can also opt to have a zipper. And I don't know if I want a zipper. I don't know. Zippers break. Zippers are finicky. Zippers catch. Sometimes zippers are good. Sometimes zippers are not so nice. So there's that debate. Always debating. My cats are roaming underneath my feet. So I really wanted to cast something on. And I was like, just do it. You wanna. You want to. You want to make that other color work sweater. You already have the yarn picked out. You have more than enough yarn. You have all that you need. Why don't you do it? And then I was like, but I want to get things done. It's finished February. I want to see where I can get on the things I want to do. So I'm making bargains with myself. If I finish something, say I finish the Emrys cardigan, well then I finished now 2 things, because I just finished my pixelated sweater, and now it's getting a little chilly. Isn't that nice? I take it off and I can put it back on, and I can take it off and I can put it back on. And I know that's what cardigans are for. So anyway, I made a bargain with myself. I said, hey, if you want to cast something on and you want to try something new, why don't you start your sleeve? Because you're going to eventually have to do it. So I got these needles many moons ago at Michael's. They're clover. This is a size 8. In the pattern they said size 7, but I don't want anything that tight on my wrist because I don't like that. So I just went up a size to size 8 or 5 millimeter. And back, I want to say in 21, I was there and they had so many things on sale. That's when I got that little stitch holder container. I got a little bag. I got a ton of these needles for $3 a piece when normally they are like, well, now they're probably closer to 10 or more. And at the time they were probably like $7, $8, or $9. So I decided I'm going to try DPNs. And so far, so good. I just started the ribbing. I have 14 stitches on each needle. I have enough needles to do a four needle, whatever. But I usually do 3 for my socks if it's nice. It'll be a little loose, which will be nice because then I can wear a long sleeve shirt and then it won't feel like my wrist is being, suffocated. I don't like tight things. Can you tell? Anyway, laddering. There's not much laddering because when I'm going around, I have found by making socks that if I end on a knit stitch and my next stitch is purl, I ladder horribly. I don't get the tension right. But if I end this, how would I go? So this last stitch here, because you work it, this way. This last stitch is a purl stitch. And my next stitch is a knit stitch. And when I knit this one, then I purl. And when I put my needle into the third stitch, so this is a 1x1 rib, I then am able to tug, not so hard that I break the yarn, but tug firmly, and it closes these stitches up so they're, nice and snug. And then it decreases the ladder. I really, really like that technique. I think I learned it at the knitting group I was in a long, long time ago, and it works. So my plan is to do the rib, do the cuff, which is, I think, 2.5, 2 3/4 inches. I'll look at the pattern and double check because, that's what you do. And then I will switch to a size 10 DPN and I'll get to the point of where the color work starts. And then I will switch to a 10.5 DPN. These are all US measurements. So that satisfied that itch. I haven't worked on it too much, just enough to get me going. Then I also, since I want to do color work, I said to myself, why don't you just work on your Lopi? You have color work on your Lopi. And the reason why I didn't want to at first is because I'm intimidated. Okay. I'm nervous. And when I get nervous, I clam up. And I'm like, oh, I'll just do something easy that needs to get done. And I'll do this other thing over here. But instead, I said, because I couldn't quiet my mind. My mind is just, there's a lot going on in the world, and it's pissing me off. Anyway, sorry for the crass language, but it is. Anywho, I started the color work. Now this is called Arctic Blue and then white, and this dark color here is called Space Blue. This is Alaphus Lopi bulky weight yarn. I bought this yarn from Little Knits in Seattle. They have really good prices. There are other companies such as Woolen Company that does carry the Lopi yarn, same brand, but it's a little bit more expensive. Little Knits is somehow able to give you discounts. Right now, I think it's like a 20% discount on each skein. However, I have received up to 40% off per skein. So it will fit. I did measure against my waist, and there's a little bit of ease on each side. So let me see. I have my pattern right here. I'm on row 10 of my chart A, and where did I put it? It'll eventually look like this. I'm just going to show you. This is the one I'm making. But wouldn't it be fun to have all the colors? Oh, it's a fast knit. I will say that. It is really knitting up fast. I like this book. It does not give you too much hand holding. It's a Norwegian designer, I believe. I believe she's Norwegian. This is all, this is it. This is it. That's all the instructions you get. And so you kind of have to know how to put a sweater together. And then she gives you the charts, right? So I kind of like it. It's like, I do like the hand holding ones. Sari Norlund is very, very descriptive, and I love that. And she's teaching me so much, reading charts, doing cables. So I have my posted. I'm on row 10. So I have gotten all the way up to the tippy top of here. And eventually I'm going to have to learn how to hold 3 yarns at the same time. I am an English knitter, so I do not hold all the yarns in my hands. I have tried and I have not succeeded. So what I learned with my, what I dub my Christmas sweater, is that I looked through all my books, including the Vogue Knitting and whatnot, and you have, like, this is my main dominant, this is the main color, and that would be below. And then I was working with this as my first color work change, and I was working that over, like below, over, above the Arctic blue. And then when I added the space, I decided I'm going to have this become my main color, and then this would be the color change. So when I'm working all 3, I'm going to have it as blue, white, and space, and keep it in that. Can you see? No, you can't see. So 1, 2, and 3. Will it work? I really hope so. It's lovely. I really enjoy this pattern. I really enjoy it a lot. It is really nice. The yarn is has a nice halo. It is a hair sheep, so this is very rustic feeling. And I was perusing YouTube right before I started recording, and I was like looking. I like to have the fireplace on when I'm recording, but I was going through looking for a fireplace one, and someone, I don't even remember her name, one of the things that popped up on my channel, she had a really big lopey sweater on, and then she had it tied with an actual belt. And I thought, oh yeah, because this is made for, you know, like if you're going skiing, say you're going cross-country skiing, this would be perfect. You wear this with some other clothes underneath. No need for a jacket. So it's very exciting. I cannot wait to have this done. And I will admit, I do have more Alafaslopi yarn as well as Plotalopi, because I figured out how much I needed for certain sweaters, and I want to make more from this book. So let's see, what else is there? I think that's it. Oh, nope, it isn't. I did start another sleeping sock, but it's way over there and I can't reach it. And now I'm gonna grab my grandma's blanket out of something really crinkly that the cats love. Now, I mentioned this in my crochet video, and I also mentioned it to my uncle. And he was like, have you finished it yet? And I said, no. But I found her hook. It's a boy F. I just love this color. You know, when I look at it, I think of her. I swear, if she had been alive at this time in life where they make ergonomic crochet hooks, I'll show you the kind I use. I have it right here behind me. I like, I'm just going to show you a bigger one. I like the silicone ones. I believe it's silicone. I really enjoy this. It really helps with hand tiring. They're very nice. If she had this option back in the, you know, late 80s, early 90s, she would have, I swear, lived to be over 100. She passed away in 2017, and I inherited all of her things. She started this blanket. She probably had about this much done. I'll just hold it open. And yeah, so it's a very simple filet crochet. It took me when I first started working on this in 2011. Yes, this is a very long-term whip. So she probably quit crocheting in the late 90s because she thought she had carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel was the big rave. Sometimes doctors aren't, you know, they aren't the best. They are looking at, hey, she wants to be a guinea pig, or hey, let's try this procedure out. Maybe this will work. Or maybe they just guessed wrong. Or maybe they thought it was, but it wasn't. What I think she had was tendonitis, because I will receive pain, especially in my thumb and also my wrist, because it's repetitive motion. However, I do massage my fingers. I will, you know, push them off to one side or the other. Also, I have a massager, and I massage this muscle right here, and that really helps my tendonitis. Also this muscle, but this one I figured it out recently, I would say within the last year, and when I rub here, it just releases all this tension. So I had started using some of my ergonomic hooks. I was using an E hook. This is an F hook. It does not, you know, this is so old, it doesn't even give you millimeters. It just says size F. Reminds me of her a lot. Anyway, I was using an E hook because I thought, well, I'll just use my ergonomic ones. And then I think I went down to a D hook by accident at one point, and the blanket started, you know, instead of being straight, it started doing one of these things. And then my cats were really naughty last spring, and they took it out of the bag, and they had all the little yarn balls that were in this bag, and they just had it everywhere. So my grandma had leftover skeins from, she used to make a lot of christening outfits for friends, family, and whatnot, and the leftover skein, she would just, you know, put the skein in the bag, and then she'd make a blanket. Back in 2011, I spent an enormous amount of time untangling all those skeins. If you really want to like get through some emotions, untangle yarn, because sometimes it really angers you when it gets all tight. But with that satisfaction of figuring it all out, and then it all comes undone and you may have a nice ball, it's so worth it. So my cats had all the little balls all over my living room, wrapped around table legs, every which way. They were very proud of themselves. I took a picture of my cat Anya proudly sitting next to her kill, which was the blanket. You can't get mad. They're cats. Cats are just cats. So it's a very simple fillet. Now my grandma put her hook in a certain area of the stitch, And it took me a while to figure it out, because if you just put it in like what you normally do, you have kind of a disjointed stitch. But she did a lot of doilies. So this would be like a filet crochet thing. And the way you do it, I'm just going to hold it up because you can't really tell. I was going to try. The way you do it, everything just kind of builds upon each other and it's nice and straight. So this weekend, I put a little bit of purple yarn to show where I started, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4. I did like 5 rows, going on 6. I probably stopped because I had to make supper. I'm just gonna say, if I was in one of those situations where food was brought to me, I don't think I would have stopped. I think I would have been like, oh, thanks, and I'm gonna keep on crocheting it. It was really, really lovely. So I'm going to continue with that. Would I like to finish this in February? I would like to. I don't think I would be able to. Just the amount of yarn I have and, you know, all the other things I want to do. But maybe by the end of March, it would be lovely. I had intended this blanket to be made for my soon-to-be born baby when I was working on it so long ago. I was like, I'm gonna make her this blanket and everything's gonna be wonderful. And then I don't know what or why, but time elapsed. She was born and I put it in I put it away in a bin. We moved. She was a toddler. I only did certain other things with crochet, like stuffed animals and other, you know, simple things. And then we moved again. And last spring or the summer, maybe it was last spring. Last spring when they destroyed my stuff, and I was so mad because they bit one of my knitting needles and they destroyed it. And I was not really happy with my cats. I was like, oh, but who's the one that left it out? It was me. I was the one that left it out. So I have this really large, I mean, it's a large bin. This was my grandma's bin for her stuff that she gave me. And so I compiled her things into a smaller, do I have another one? Anyway, I compiled stuff together. I would love to finish more of her projects because she started blankets, she started this, she would put covers over hangers. There's just so many things. She was even making my grandpa a sweater. I don't know if I could rescue that one. I'm not sure. I mean, I looked at it recently and I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if the pattern is still there, if the pattern got lost. Anyway, where was I headed towards? Oh yeah, I now hide all my stuff from my cats because they're cats and cats are gonna do what cats are gonna do. Anyway, I think that is about it for today. I am going to continue working on my projects. Will I cast on something new? Possibly. You know, because I really, really, really want to make another circular yoke colorwork sweater. So, and I also want to make my other cable sweater. And I also want to make t-shirts. And I also want to make more spring cardigans. And I have the yarn. Now, I just need the time. So, thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a lovely day. Stay warm, stay cool, and keep on making. Bye for now. Take care and have fun.